The word cure hung in the cramped space, more potent and dangerous than the acid storm raging outside. It shifted everything. I was no longer an object of contempt or a passing spectacle. I was a resource, a tool, and judging by the feral hope gleaming in Reese's eyes, I was one they would not let go. "Don't be a fool, Reese," Cale growled, though his own gaze kept darting from my face to the spot on the wall where the light had faded. It was a trick of the light, a starchild's glamour. "Did that feel like a trick?" Reese countered, his voice sharp with intensity. He never took his eyes off me. I felt it, a whisper of what this world once was. She poured life into stone. He turned his full attention to me, his expression a fearsome blend of supplication and demand. "You can do it again. You can cleanse the soil. You can bring back the green." The sheer impossibility of the request was staggering. I was one being, and my power, which felt so limitless in the void, was being actively suppressed by this planet's poisoned aura. What I had just done, that tiny flicker of life, had felt like trying to fill an ocean with a thimble. It had left me feeling hollowed out and weak. "You don't understand," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "This world, it's fighting me. It's too sick, too far gone. What you ask is, it would destroy me." "And without you, we are already destroyed," Reese retorted, his logic as sharp and merciless as broken glass. "You are trapped here. We are trapped here. It seems our fates are intertwined, whether you like it or not." He offered a proposition that felt more like a threat. Help us heal Ethel, and we will help you survive it. We will be your guards, your guides. We will teach you how to breathe this air and walk this blighted land. We offer a bargain." Cale remained silent, his arms crossed over his massive chest. He was the muscle, but Reese was clearly the mind, the strategist, and I was their sudden, unexpected gambit. My desire to leave, to return to my pristine reality, was a burning ache, but the anchor held fast. Escape was impossible. Survival, however, was not guaranteed. The acid rain was proof of that. "Where," I finally asked, the word tasting like defeat, "where would you have me start?" A grim smile touched Reese's lips, the heart would. The storm eventually subsided, leaving the world dripping and steaming. They led me through the skeletal ruins of a dead city, across plains of gray dust, to the base of what I first thought was a small mountain. It was the petrified stump of a tree, so colossal it defied imagination. Its broken top was lost in the smog layer above. This was the heartwood. "It was the mother tree," Cale said, his voice softer now, tinged with a reverence that surprised me. "All life on Ethel sprang from its roots. Our ancestors believed its lifeblood was the planet's own. We believe if you can wake the heartwood, even for a moment, its pulse will resonate through the soil," Reese explained, pointing to a dark, gnarled section near the base. "There, pour your power into its heart." I approached the petrified trunk, the scale of it making me feel small and ephemeral for the first time in my very long life. I placed both palms on the cold, rough surface. Cale stood a few paces back, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword, his posture that of a wary protector. Reese watched from the side, his expression unreadable. I closed my eyes and drew upon my core. I bypassed the sputtering, weakened energy near my surface and reached deep, pulling on the very essence of my being, the ancient, raw starlight from which I was forged. I funneled it into my hands, pushing it into the dead, unyielding stone. It was agony. It felt like shoving my arms into a furnace filled with grinding sand. The planet's blight fought back, a crushing, negative force that sought to devour my light. My vision swam. I felt the planet's pain, not as an outside observer, but as a shared trauma, eons of slow poisoning, of gasping for breath, of life withering into dust. It was a symphony of despair, and I was now a part of it. In my haze of pain, I could feel the presence of the two men. Cale's was a solid, grounding weight, a silent bastion against the storm I was battling. Reese's was a sharp, focused point of desperate hope, a beacon and a demand all at once. For a fleeting second, I didn't feel like their prisoner. I felt connected to them, to this place. But the strain was too much, the blight was too strong. The starlight within me began to gutter violently. My physical form flickered, threatening to dissolve. A cry of pain was torn from my lips as my strength shattered. My legs gave way, and I pitched forward into darkness. As consciousness fled, I saw Cale surging forward, his usual scowl wiped away by a mask of raw alarm. His strong arms caught me before I hit the ground. The last thing I felt before the blackness took me completely was the solid, warm shock of his touch, but it wasn't just warmth. Deep within my fading essence, something ancient and dormant stirred, a note of resonance, a chord of impossible familiarity, a feeling not just of being caught, but of being found.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.